be making a song in HookTheory, and I'm going to make Mary Had a Little Lamb. So the first thing that you have to do is you have to take your paper that I handed out to you that has the lyrics to the song and the chords that you will use. So I am making Mary Had a Little Lamb. So the first thing I'm going to do is just flat out just create the tune. And I purposefully chose Twinkle Twinkle Little Star for you guys because I know that you know the song well and can hum it, can sing it, and will really know when you play it back if it's correct or if something needs to be edited. So the first thing you have to do is flat out figure out what your starting pitch is. So you're going to click in this section right up here to kind of engage this top section. Then you figure out what your first note is. The first note in Mary Had a Little Lamb happens to be an E. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to go kind of measure by measure, or line by line in the song, and make sure that I have it correct. So I'm starting on an E. Now see, when it's kind of highlighted like this and it's white kind of surrounded by the color, you can't really do anything else with it at that point. So you're going to want to click it again to bring that blinking bar back. Wherever that blinking bar is, the new note will be placed after it. So I'm going to come up here. Bum, 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 bum. So I already had my first note. Bum. Okay, now I'm going to play this and make sure it sounds right. Mary had a little lamb. All right, good. Now the next thing that happens in my song is, but see, my blinking thing is back here, so I need to bring it back here so I can continue on. Little lamb. No, that's not the right note. So I'm going to click on that note, and then using my arrow directional keys on my keyboard, I can make it until I find my correct note. So that's my correct note. I click on it. Bum, bum, bum. Bum, bum, bum. Okay, so I'm going to listen to my song and see if it sounds correct. That's not quite correct because there's some spaces in the song. He had a little lamb, little lamb, little lamb. So I've got to put some spaces in. Mary had a little lamb. So I'm going to go right there and I'm going to add in a rest and see it shifted everything else forward. So let's see if that sounds better. Oh, I need to go back to the beginning. That was better, but I need to put in another one. So I'm going to click there again. I'm going to add another rest. I'm going to go back to the beginning. I'm going to see if this sounds better. Okay, that sounds correct to me. I'm going to put in another rest. Now I have, Mary had a little lamb whose fleece was white as snow. Mary had a little lamb whose fleece was white as snow. So I'm going to listen to my whole song, go back, click back at the beginning. Good. I actually want that last note to be a little bit longer, so I'm going to click on it, and then I'm going to make it a full measure. Okay, so I've got my tune done, which is great. Now I need to add in the chords. So I'm going to look at my paper, and it says above my very first Mary Had a Little, it says Mary Had a Little Lamb, and it says a C chord. So I'm going to click down here in the chord boxes, and I see my C chord right up here. So I'm going to click on that. Now, right now I have this set to be a full measure. I don't want that because that will not be what I use the whole time. So I'm going to make it shorter. So I'll just repeat it. Mary had a little lamb. Ba, 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 ba. Okay, so all of those. Actually, maybe I do want to leave it a whole measure. You're allowed to change your mind. Then over here, so Mary had a little lamb. I should have a C for that whole one. My next chord is a G7 chord. Now if I look at my G chord here, it's not a G7. If I go over here, there's an option of adding a 7. So I'm going to click on that, and now if you look, now I do have a G7 chord. So I'm going to add that next. So I have Mary had a little lamb. See, the G7 comes in for little lamb. Then it goes back to a C for little lamb. As you can see, that 7 disappeared. It only puts that in temporarily, so I don't need to fix anything. Little lambs. Let's see if it sounds good so far. Sounds good to me. So now I'm back to Mary had a little lamb. So I'm gonna need another C chord. Mary had a little lamb, its fleece. That's this part. That's an F. So I see my F chord here. Oops. I want to change that. Fleece was, and then on white, it goes back to a G7. So I have fleece was white. Okay, so right here, I need another G7 chord. White as, whoops. Snow is back to the C chord again. I want to make it last the whole measure. All right, so let's see what it sounds like. Oh, let's see what it sounds like from the beginning. And that's it. That's how you do it. So it's going to take you a while to do this. Obviously, being a music teacher, this process went rather quickly. I also know what notes to play Mary Had a Little Lamb. So it's just going to take you some time, some trial and error to work. You can work with one or alone or with one other person to complete this project. When you're done, you're just going to kind of have it up on your screen like this. You're going to hit print. And if you look, it'll actually just print, you'll be able to print a screenshot, and you'll want to choose that downstairs hallway printer 2. Then you can print it, and then you can show me your work so I can check it and see how you did. So you don't need to do anything special, just kind of have the page open and then go up here to the top, File, Print, Downstairs Hallway Printer 2, and then you can print it out for me and I can see how you did. All right, have fun.